Now, before I get started with this article from Zero Hedge, titled "The Truth About Illinois Pensions in One Stunning Chart," and it's terrible. Like, this is unbelievable. It's just, I'm starting to read the book, The Robes, or whatever the title was, from Penny Kelly, the lady I'm going to have on Thursday. And I downloaded it right off her website. I'd rather pay her $21 than go to Amazon or somewhere else and download the PDF from her. So I did. And I've been reading the PDF. It's the book. And I'm about a third of the way through it, I'd say. And as I read it, and some of the problems that are going to be coming to a planet near you, including our own country, when I do an article like this, it's like, hello, she was told this stuff in 1980. And it just reminds me, like, man, I'm a third way through the book. Like, what's coming next? What else has she got to say? You know, or the robes have to say, as she called them. Just makes me think about it. Yeah, I see where this is headed. How does this get solved? Honestly, they'll keep raising taxes and keep raising taxes until the people can't take it anymore. And then the whole system just implodes. Or the government says, listen, all you pensioners, we know we made a promise. Yeah, but the state Supreme Court says you have to pay the pension. Yeah, listen, we just rewrote the laws. Or Illinois ceases to exist here shortly. But by that time, it's usually already too bad. Too far gone. The damage has been done, and the people have had enough. We'll see, though. This is authored by Ted Dabrowski and John Klingler via wirepoints.com. One graphic perfectly captures the absurdity of Illinois' pensions over the past 3 decades. It's what Justice Samuel Alito described as Illinois' generous public employee retirement packages when writing for the majority in the Janus versus AFS CME decision. Alito didn't use this graphic, but he could have, because it makes his point. In 1987, pension promises made to active workers and retirees in the state's 5 state-run pension plans totaled just $18 billion. By 2016, they had ballooned to $208 billion. This is just the state's 5, right? The state's 5 state-run pensions. Not the country. Just the 5 from Illinois. Almost $250 billion. That's a cumulative 1,667% increase. Contrast that to the state's budget, general fund revenues, which was up just 236% over the same time period. So something rises 236%, that pays for the other thing, and that other thing has been rising exponentially, approximately 5 times as much as that, or maybe more like 4 times as much as that. So the thing that pays the bills is over here, and the bills that need to be paid 4 times what you have over here to pay them with. How's that going to end? Or household incomes, which were just up 127%. Or inflation, up just 111%. Promised pension benefits have blown past any ability of the state, the economy, or taxpayers to pay for them. See, it's signs like this in the other 400 videos I've done over the last few years, specifically about Illinois and other states, but that should be a sign when someone sees that and says, you know, I live there. That person who hopefully was paying attention to the same things that I'm talking about would say, honey, yes, I know we really like it here, but I see some things happening in the future here that are unsustainable. There'll be no way we can pay for it, the state, and it's probably going to end badly. Our property taxes are probably going to skyrocket first. I think we got to start looking to move now while we can still sell our house, because as the states raise the state income tax, like we just heard New Jersey and California did, and California wasn't recently, but fairly recent enough. Who the hell wants to move into that? Oh, honey, let's leave Florida, no income tax state, to one of those places where we got to pay state income tax. Oh, that sounds brilliant. That sounds absolutely brilliant. Like, I don't get it. So if you're in those states, you can sell your house, get the hell out. It's not getting any better anytime soon. Matter of fact, it has to get a whole lot worse before it gets better. That's how this stuff works. Wire points, and let me just show you the chart here, in case you want to see how disturbing this looks. I mean, here's everything else, and here's the promised day pensions. Jiminy Christmas. I'm not frickin' putting you on, Charlie. WirePoints released a report on these booming benefits earlier this year, and while it received strong coverage online nationally, Illinois' traditional media didn't want to touch it. The findings interfere with the narrative that's repeatedly promoted by public sector unions and politicians, that the crisis is all the taxpayers' fault for failing to put in enough money towards pensions. The report proved a lack of dollars wasn't the issue. Illinois pension assets, buoyed by taxpayer contributions, of course, also grew far faster than the same economic indicators in the above graph. But taxpayer contributions could never keep up with the state's explosive growth in promised benefits. Again, I've talked about this. It's been a long time since I have. Roman Empire, they had pension systems. 20 years, you give service and you get to retire. They couldn't afford it. They had to go warring and stealing and getting all this new wealth, only to find out the more wealth that they stole, they then had to take over the area. We got to have councilmen and, the white robes, put them over there. And we got to, individual city-states now we've got to take care of. And we don't have the money to do that. So, wow, this isn't working. And that was a big reason for the collapse of the Roman Empire. And no, it didn't happen overnight. Sure, it dragged on for a long time. But how much longer do you think this is going to drag on for Illinois, for California? Talk about a pension nightmare. California. New Jersey. Oh, up in Jersey. But the taxpayer contributions could never keep up with the state's explosive growth and promised benefits. Over-promising is the real culprit of the pension crisis. Freezing and reversing that growth in promised benefits is the fair and only way to fix things. The above graphic gives taxpayers every right to demand concessions from their public servants. The Janus ruling will hopefully give them more power to demand them, and union members have a strong incentive to come to the bargaining table. After all, it's their retirements that are teetering on the edge of insolvency in a state just one notch from being considered junk status. And that link goes to another article from them. Rating agencies warn Illinois flirts with junk status. Junk bond status. But if the unions won't deal, Illinois should go ahead and freeze salaries, cut the subjects of collective bargaining, move to defined contribution plans, reduce headcounts, and work with the feds on a form of state bankruptcy. With the Constitution currently preventing any changes to pension benefits, those are the only levers taxpayers have to save this state from complete collapse. So, at least I ain't got that problem here in Florida. That's all I can say for now, but at some point, could Florida, we've got a pension system here too, for a lot of state employees, both city, state, basically the state of Florida pensions, but that includes local government, some of them. That's why I don't care about it, don't have one. I'm dealing with my own money. I'm investing in cryptos for that rainy day. When everyone else is crying the blues, my pension, it's my pension and I need it now. And let's think about this. You work, you're a pensioner. You work for this, the state, the city, whatever. Promised a pension. I've been here 20 years and I'm going to retire and I'm going to get my pension. So the taxpayer has been contributing to your pension the whole time, by the way. You now leave your job, full pension. So now we're paying your full salary out of that pension fund. But someone has to replace you. A younger person is coming in to replace you because you're quitting, who we've also been paying their pension. So we're also paying their salary, obviously, and their pension, and we're paying your pension as if we're paying you an additional salary. So it's kind of like having people come to work, you pay them for 20 years, they leave, you still pay them as if they're working for you, and you got to hire someone else to replace them. All on the taxpayer's dime. Now listen, those of you pensioners out there, if I'm the pensioner and I was made that promise, I'd be pretty upset too. Hey, you guys promised this. I've set my lifestyle up for the last 20 years. I mean, you can't change it now. My whole lifestyle is going to be thrown upside down. You know, I get it. I get it. And I'll say it like I've always said it. If you ever get offered, hey, we're willing to work with you on this pension. It's got some problems. We'll pay you half of it today. Half of it, and we don't owe you anything the rest of your life. You take that money and you run as fast as you can. That's what I would do if it were me. And then I personally would invest in some crypto. I would also have some precious metals, because that rainy day, they can never go to zero. That's an asset that cannot go to zero. Okay? But you might even argue, Joe, well, can cryptos go to zero? I mean, sure. Yeah, they could. But even them, I don't think will go to zero. There's too many out there, being used too much. The growth and the uses and the news, where they're going next is out of control. But again, a piece of gold or silver in your hand, that can't go to zero. However, I'm still far more, if I had a choice, what would you put more in, Joe? Silver or those? Cryptos, without even thinking. Take care.